Luigi has worked so hard for us, hasn't he? We've made him trek across the whole Mushroom Kingdom twice over, literally carrying his brother on his shoulders. After all that, the good man certainly deserves a break. And today's his chance, as we discover the following. Is it possible to beat new Super Luigi U while always holding Luigi? The rules for our always carrying Luigi challenges are just like they were for our holding Mario challenges. Just, with Luigi. We'll be playing in 2-player mode as Toadette, because why not? As soon as we start any level, we must immediately pick up Luigi and not drop him until the end of said level. There are exceptions for certain required actions that force Toadette to drop Luigi though, like entering doors or going through warp pipes, so long as Luigi is picked up again as soon as we come out on the other side. Luigi and Toadette are both allowed to take damage, but if either die, then we have to kill the other and start the level over. If we can get to the end of the game and beat Bowser while staying in accordance with these rules, then we've got a successful challenge on our hands. So with all that established, let's get into this. We of course start with Waddling Warning. Here we immediately discover that picking Toadette as our chief Luigi holder may not have been a great idea after all. Sure, the player select screen states that she's the easy option, but for this challenge that doesn't exactly pan out. The main culprit here is this pesky little crown. The Super Crown is a power-up in the Switch version of New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Luigi U that turns characters into Peachette. And by characters, I mean specifically and only Toadette. Contrary to what the meme-verse may have you believe. Now, seeing as we're playing as Toadette, that may not sound like an issue, but trust me, it is. Because in this challenge, it's the power-up of the player being held that matters, not the one of the player doing the holding. Therefore, by playing as Toadette, we've quite considerably reduced the amount of power-ups available for Luigi to get by switching them to useless Super Crowns, in exchange for really no apparent gain. But whatever, we've made our decision, and we are going to stick with it. So yeah, that's annoying, but luckily, power-ups are not needed to complete this level. In fact, come Crooked Cavern, you'll be glad to be power-upless in light of how low the ceilings are. Of course, without a power-up at the end of the level, the secret exit is not even something we can consider using. So instead, we're off to Flame Gear Tower. Here, being small is yet again beneficial to help you weave in and around the gears, hopefully without dropping Luigi. Rolling Yoshi Hills is then quite easy, especially if you rush through it, and Piranha Heights is quite easy, especially if you take your time. Lights Out Castle and Spike's Tumble Desert are also pretty easy. Piranhas in the Dark, however, is considerably more annoying, particularly for this part near the end. There's only just a lot of fire to dodge here. You can try to nullify the threats by fighting back by spin jumping with a Fire Luigi, but I found more success staying small so as to be a smaller target. Wind Up Tower actually went surprisingly well, though this one jump was annoying due to the extra height caused by carrying Luigi. Beating the Walls Has Eyes is pretty easy, but I'm not here to simply beat it. I'm here to get the secret exit. Unfortunately, you have to ground pound through brick blocks to access it, which is a move you can't do while holding someone. So I guess we'll take the normal way then. That means going through Spinning Sandstones and Morton's Lava Block Castle, both of which are pretty easy. What else is easy is deciding which way to go at this fork in the road. We can either go to Sparkling Waters or Frosted Glacier. Now, holding other players becomes a bit, impossible in underwater levels, so Frosted Glacier it is. Bruisers and Barrels is a bit tough due to how many things around the level can just straight up kill you, but if you ascend deliberately, you should be fine. Cooligan Shrooms features some annoying penguin ambushes, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and well, the point is you're not gonna fool me again, alright? Next up is Icicle Tower, where fittingly enough, icicles are the main issue. Specifically these ones, where there just isn't really a safe place to hide from them. Unless you jump off the platform entirely. I guess that works. Fire and Ice goes pretty well, and so does Weighty Waddlewings, as long as you don't get impatient. Next up is Peekaboo Ghost House, which isn't hard, but does necessitate bringing in some squirrel suits to get to the secret exit. That allows us to take on Flipperous Flows and its myriad icicles. Caution is the key here. And then the key here is being able to take a hit followed by being very precise with your jumps. That brings us all the way to Rock Candy Mines and Mount Fuzzy. A pretty easy level, along with Porcupine Cavern. Smashing Stone Tower also goes pretty well. Lots of fire about and light up Lift Tower, but nothing unmanageable. Rising Piranhas is even easier. And then there's Sumo Bro's Spinning Tower. Yeah. Problem number 1. The Sumo's attacks in this level come from above, and we're taller than normal. I'm sure you can piece together the implication. Problem number 2. This damage is a special sort of damage that causes you to drop Luigi if he gets hit by it. So no matter the power-up situation we have going into this level, we basically have to get through it without getting hit. Problem 3. Suppose you make it to the boss fight. It's actually pretty easy to get knocked around by him, and end up dropping Luigi as a result. So yeah, you really need to become intimately familiar with Sumo Bro attack patterns if you want to have success in this level. Easier said than done, but certainly possible. But now it's out of the frying pan and into the fire. Switch Lift Express is literally impossible. The reason for that is this switch on the ceiling, which, if you press, causes you to drop Luigi. Now there is a gap here which in theory could allow you to skip the switch, but you can't jump high enough to get through it. But not to worry, we can bring in a squirrel suit, which also doesn't work. But don't lose hope yet. If there's one thing Mario games are great at, it's coming up with slightly different ways to craft flying power-ups. If we go back and defeat some overworld enemies, we can be rewarded with propeller mushrooms. But even this doesn't work, because we're simply too tall to get through. Unless we damage Toadette first to make her small. Now we can fit through the gap, cautiously make our way through the rest of the level, and move on to Roy's Ironclad Castle, which, having a propeller suit, is also pretty useful for. Now it's up to Frozen Fuzzies in Meringue Clouds, which goes pretty well once you penguin up. Wiggler Rodeo is even easier. Stone Crush Tower isn't. To start with, the start of the level is a bit evil, forcing you to pick up Luigi and get him to safety within seconds if you don't want him to die. The rest of the level isn't too bad, with the exception of the boss fight, where Luigi can be unceremoniously ripped from your grasp if either he or Toadette aren't small. But if you are small, it goes about normal. Well, aside from the twice as large hitbox, but that is something that can certainly be overcome. Then Vanishing Ghost House can be beaten with basically a single leap, even getting you to the secret exit. Though it's probably best to just ride the platform, otherwise, this happens.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes taking the long route pays. That takes us straight to Ludwig's Block Press Castle, which is pretty easy, if you move with confidence. Bowser Jr. Showdown has two major obstacles. First are these blocks that can rip Luigi away from you if you're not careful. Depending on the block, you either want to go over it and avoid the threat entirely, or rush underneath with incredibly good timing. And then there's this cannon that kills Luigi after Toadette has already entered the warp pipe. The solution to this problem is rushing to the pipe as quickly as possible, because earlier in the level, the cannon is actually angled down enough to where its line of fire doesn't threaten Luigi once you go into the pipe. And that brings us to Peach's Castle and Magma Moat, which is easy even if you want to get to the secret exit, which we do. That brings us to Firefall Rising, a level that's at least somewhat annoying in light of the fireballs falling from the sky, on our, of course, tall stack of heroes. But it's not too bad if you're paying attention. Current event is pretty easy, leaving only the final battle to beat. The level section honestly isn't too bad, though you do need to know when is the right time to wait, and when you have to book it. The first Bowser fight is pretty easy. The second one, not so much. Now on the plus side, it's pretty easy for Toadette to leap over his fireballs. But the easiest way to deal damage to him, the Clown Copter isn't available to us, as getting on board causes you to drop Luigi. That means we're stuck firing loads of fireballs up. Relying wholly on spin jumps for this would be a nightmare. Luckily, we are still holding Luigi even if he fires off a few with his own controller. But still, there is a ton of danger flying out, and even just one hit on Luigi would dash your hopes then and there, because then we wouldn't have any means to deal damage to Bowser. But, with a bit of perseverance, eventually, we overcome our foe, proving that it is possible to beat new Super Luigi U while always holding Luigi. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate a like or a subscription if you want to be notified of my future uploads. Or, if you really want to be notified without relying on YouTube's random whims, you may want to consider signing up for my email list in the description below. Additionally, if you enjoyed this video, I've done loads of other Mario challenges, and recently a Sonic challenge, so check those out if they interest you. Oh, and of course, thank you to my patrons who got to see this video a day early. I'd especially like to give a special thanks to my $15 tier patron, Ashburn Says. But anyways guys, until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, wondering what may lay in store next. Goodbye.